Man, scriptures on air.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the FS On Air podcast. We know you've just been itching to get more content from me and my boy, Jornk Lonkitt.
I am Jornk Lonkitt.
And today we're talking about, yes indeed, the Green Meanies 2021 with our special guest from last year's Green Meanies episode, Senna0202.
Hello everyone, great to be here.
Good to have you back. So before we get into all that, we just have a couple of things to recap before we do that. Not much, because we covered all that last time, but first, most importantly, last time we forgot to give a shout out to the fact that the Spectre Detectives second episode came out in the early fall, and that was a serious error on our part, so I would like to apologize to Falcon for that, but I highly recommend everyone go and read that because it's a really good show and it will be well worth your while. And of course, Martian Manhunter is about to wrap. It probably will already be wrapped by the time this episode goes up. No, just hoping, assuming this is in retrospect, that everyone tuned into that final episode and enjoys it. I think it's going to be a good one. And without further ado, that's about everything. So let's get into the awards. If you want to start, Jornk, be my guest.
Okay, yeah, you know what? Let's get into them. So the first one we had was Best Fan Casting, which went to Cerberus.
Yes, indeed. I remember when Spider was talking about that. I think it was kind of funny because there was some confusion initially. The way that Noah was talking about it to me, I thought that they were going to do it in the form of like a live action thing, because the Meteor Tide shows are always intended to be seen in some sort of animated style, and any live action appearances are basically you're just supposed to imagine a rendition of them. But yeah, they've eventually just informed us that we were doing all voice casts, which is a good thing, and I think they chose some particularly spectacular ones. Obviously, I am biased towards the inclusion of John David Washington, of course, because he's also John Johns, but Kelsey Grammer as, my main, one of my, the ice guy from Plasma Man Season 1, of course. I don't know why I can't remember his name right now. I feel really bad about that. He's my own character. Yes, Francisco. Very, love Kelsey Grammer. And Pedro Pascal as Oscar Kane, always a delight.
Yeah, great choices from the fan casting man himself, Noah. Well-deserved award, for sure.
For sure.
He's a big fan of his fan cast, like Donald Glover's Black Cat. That was my favorite. Can we get a picture of that on screen? Thank you. It was the first one I ever posted to Twitter of the bad fan cast.
I'm pretty sure I've seen it, and I just can't picture it right now.
It is. We have not seen it in a while, so we'll try to find it.
And of course, next we have Best Audition. I think we had some pretty fantastic picks for Best Audition this year. I especially liked Chucky's King Faraday audition post, and of course the audition that won was really, really solid. Noah's Brainiac audition for Brainiac 1.0. Never get him confused with Brainiac 5 from Legion of Superheroes, completely different thing. But I think Noah is absolutely great at giving the cold, robotic, and just pure evil performance from him, and even in his audition that was pretty evident.
Oh yeah, he did incredible.
It was solidly written. He does as you say, he does a very good job at those type of characters, and it was a well-deserved award. He did a fantastic job with that audition.
Yeah.
And might I add, it was a good suggestion from Mac, I believe, to include this as an award. It's an aspect of our community that's very important and prevalent, so I think it's a welcome addition to this awards.
I think it's a good idea that we appreciate the it's very common where you'll have multiple great auditions. I can definitely, most of the live projects that I've done in the last few years, I haven't really received a bad audition, so I think I can support that. I think it's also a neat thing that we also had people submit auditions that didn't result in castings, and most of those were fairly good as well, so it's always a good idea to shine a light on how people approach things. Even if the one that ultimately wins the Green Meanie is one that resulted in them being cast, it's always interesting to see how they went from playing the character in their audition to playing it in the script. Because even if everyone likes the way that they've done in the audition, the performance is inherently going to be a little different in the script because there's some context that actors can't know when they do auditions, because so as not to reveal vital plot information for people who aren't going to be members of the cast, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
I can back up what you mean there because and we're gonna go way back for this example. I don't want to go too much on it, but I remember when I submitted for Shocker and I got the part. I think when I actually got the chance to give more lines, even just in Spider-Man 4, I was like, okay, that felt way more dynamic than how my first audition went. And I even reused some lines from that audition, but even then, like you said, it can really shine too in the performances, you know.
For sure. I can definitely relate to that, and I think it's great because you can just kind of build upon the character. But as you say, Proteus, it's much different in the audition than in the project because of that dynamic aspect of the plot and the script. And you're still kind of setting out as that character, but needless to say, it's important to recognize those auditions for sure, because a lot of people spend a lot of time working on them, some more than others, of course.
As the Matt Damon gif would say, you do it in the casting of the film, not in the casting of the show.
Well said.
You can talk about our next award, Senna.
Sure. So the next award was the Best Action Sequence, and this was the first of many ties of the evening, which was the Technodrome escape scene from Chucky's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the Agent Liberty versus Metallo scene from Spider's Panic in the Sky.
Yes,
both fantastic scenes.
Both of those are like
Oh yeah.
the scene, like the big action scene, almost in both of them. Although I guess the second one, like, there's probably two of those in Panic in the Sky that you could say is that scene, but that was the one I enjoyed the most because I was in it, so no bias, but I guess I was also in the other one. So moot point. Anyway, yeah, great written, and as best as can be said when you're doing it in text-only form, great choreography in terms of the writing between the script and the improv from the cast. The Technodrome one in particular was just insane in the absolute best way. I love the way that culminates after so much tension with the turtles going to a different world and how that builds up to them breaking out of that thing.
Yeah, no, I have a real respect for people who show a lot of their creativity in those kind of scenes, because I personally love writing those kind of scenes. So it's really good to, like, I actually think it's especially good that there's a tie this time, because that showed that those aspects jumped out to people a lot in two different scenes.
Well said.
Right. And I also particularly, like, just to give a more personal note on the last one, like, that was something I wanted to mention the previous award, but decided not to until this one, because I think Noah gave a great presence as I messed up, I'm sorry. Great. I think this Agent Liberty was a great addition to the script. I thought it was pretty interesting when Spire decided to go with that, but I think this is where that really paid off, because I think his fight with Metal was one of my favorite scenes from that script. It was chaotic and energetic, and most of all, it was satisfying in terms of where it led to the resolution of that side conflict of the script, and I think it was a great way to bring that side storyline together with the main one. So really great stuff there. I guess I'll talk about this next one myself, because
Oh yeah, this is your
Your first award.
your expertise.
yeah, I might see a couple of those there. I won't be too braggadocious about this one, but I was happy to say that Best Soundtrack went to Plasma Man Season 2, and that was something I honestly didn't really expect. I think most of us have a really solid connection when it comes to music. I know Chucky in particular is a lot like me, where he'll hear a song, and then instantly the next thought is, okay, can I find some excuse in some way to use this in a script?
I think we can all relate to that.
I did that a lot with this one because I really got into the vaporwave genre over that summer, but I also think that gave me a good idea in terms of like visualizing the second season, because for a while I was having trouble in terms of how to approach it, because I thought at first, well, maybe I'll do something that's a little lighter, more standard, considering that season 1 was pretty dark, dealing with cult horror themes. But I actually think that getting into that genre of music and deciding to use it for this second season was very important in terms of telling me where I should go in terms of both visual and dialogue, in terms of like the tone and the mood to go for, because it was definitely a good idea to keep that tone and not completely differentiate, even though this definitely goes for a more introspective and, I guess, talky kind of deal than the first one did, which was pretty 50-50 between dialogue and action, but yeah, I love that kind of music, which is why I went to the effort of getting that, carefully choosing music from some of my favorite artists in that subgenre, getting that graphic made. I got that made in one day, believe it or not. I definitely got my money's worth and then some for that, and did the whole make a soundtrack on YouTube thing, which was cleverly pioneered by some. Was Agent Venom the first to do that? That's the first one I remember doing.
So.
And that was always I always liked the method of doing a soundtrack like that, so that's why I chose to do it. And I'm very flattered that you guys all liked that as well. I honestly didn't expect it. If anything, I honestly thought Chucky might win it for TMNT because he had a pretty solid variety of tunes there, but I'm flattered and grateful to win that one, and I appreciate you guys.
If I may comment on the music, I used to be a very big fan of the vaporwave genre when I was younger, and it fits really well with your script and the tone of that show, the way that the character is in the city and everything. And then it really shapes, as you commented on briefly, it shapes the way you kind of write it. And I think it's really good that you did that. And it's a well-deserved award for that reason. Frankly, if any script, I think this year, or perhaps last year this is the new year. Anyway, fit the most with the soundtrack, it's yours, simply because of that connection. If that makes sense. I may just be rambling about nothing.
Oh,
but...
I completely understand
Yeah,
what you mean. That's exactly what I was saying, and I appreciate that you get what I was going for. I guess that's enough on that one. You can talk about our next one with Jornk, which is Best Trailer.
Ooh, yes, best trailer. This is always kind of a fun one. The best trailer winner was Martian Manhunter: A New Frontier.
Very well edited trailer, as per usual.
Oh yeah, very. Like I
Man
think
himself.
a lot of our trailers are well edited, but I think a lot of us keep trying to step it up.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sure.
no cap, DCFS has some of our finest trailers. Not that
I agree.
our other servers don't, but I think that DCFS produces probably some of the most consistent bangers in that regard, and this one was absolutely no different.
Kind of give me vibes to the Green Lantern one, because I remember that one. I particularly thought that one was well edited.
Oh yeah, that one was pretty fantastic too.
So yeah, that's kind of vibe I got for this one. You know, like, oh, of course, I have to discount the Marvel trailers. So I think all of our trailers are good, but like, damn, we just keep stepping it up with our trailer makers, if you ask me. And I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
To everyone, say thank you to our wonderful executives, Chucky and Spider, for being as good at video editing as they are, because without them, we would be lost.
Exactly. It's difficult to make a trailer.
It really is.
Especially when we have limited footage.
Yeah,
Right? You always have to
Oh,
pull
well,
from
you
big
know, one of
sources.
our executives did make a second Common Rider US trailer with Mark Ruffalo. So, you know,
Perhaps
how can
that
you
would have stole the
discount
show if he made it in time for the
that?
awards.
Yeah, that would have stolen the show.
Oh, I bet.
The trailer Chucky doesn't want you to see.
Considering that like joke trailers in particular tend to garner quite a lot of attention, I was honestly expecting the free trailer to win, the joke trailer that we played before the reveal of full Mr. Miracle trailer, but I was happy that
Real quick, can we shout out Zombrush? Is that how you say it?
the Zombrush, yes. Oh my
Yeah,
god,
can we
that channel is
shout to the
so
Zombrush?
funny. I love it.
Do not let YouTube take down a real brother.
Keep his videos up, man.
Disney's putting out the hit because they know his trailers are better
True.
than their own
true.
films.
Just you put out the hit.
This winter will be very cold.
It's past my bedtime.
And this one hits a little close to home for us. The next one is the best FS on air episode.
That's me! That's me! I'm in that!
Which ended up being the FSFF 21 episode, our Fan Scripture Film Festival winners breakdown.
That one I can say is very personal to me because I think for all of us the FS film festival is very personal to us because we all get to kind of, I feel like to us we all get to truly do something, I guess, our own thing. Not to say we can never do our own thing with other scripts, but you know, I feel like each of these scripts is very personal to us, and us getting to talk further in depth, not just about the other scripts, but about our scripts is very fun. So I think that was a very well-voted decision. Also, I love that episode because Chucky went off on that editing, especially when me and Proteus didn't exactly catch on to the title of Korg's short.
Yeah, he rightfully roasted us on that one.
Oh, and he had he put in some pretty good songs.
Yeah, pretty some bangers on the soundtrack. He always edits these super duper well, so thank you for that one. And I definitely agree with you what you're saying. It's not that our longer, like, full scripts aren't true to who we are, but I think that what short films are better at doing is capturing the state of our creative minds at a particular moment in time, because like our creative tastes and the way that we approach things, they're always evolving, whether or not we know that or not. And I think that that's most reflective in our fan shorts. The ones from the first year, while still very good, they're obviously very, very different from the ones that we would do now. And granted, I feel like we have been saying that ever since we talked about this second Fan Scripture Film Festival, so I'm sure I am nowhere near the first person to say that, but I think it keeps becoming truer and truer. They keep getting better every year, and that's a great thing, because it just shows how much better we're all getting as we're learning from each other. We're getting new ideas, finding new cool concepts to do, and we had some really fantastic original stuff this year, which I think is evidence to that.
Oh yes, very much. And as always, I look forward to the next one, because we're always kind of surprising each other in the best ways possible.
For sure, it's a great thing we have. I think it's if I may comment, one thing it does too is that a project for any server, it's a long-term thing, especially in the greenlighting process. And I think that this festival allows, not to say that we're restricted on big projects in terms of who can.
Yeah,
do it.
Because I do feel like we're fairly free.
Yeah, but we are. But what it is that it allows anyone, realistically anyone, to write, propose, and air their script within a short period of time. Whereas maybe perhaps you're doing it for a DC film. Let's just, for an example, you have it greenlit and whatever, it might take a year. Again, I'm just throwing off a random example here, but it could take a very long time for you to do it. Right. Whereas this, and this even connects to your idea, what you guys said about how it reflects the creative mind at the time. It allows you to do it fairly quickly, and I think that's a real treasure, so to speak, that we have in this community.
I agree. It was a wonderful thing when it started back in 2019, and I'm glad that it's continued to this day.
I can't believe that started back in 2019, and then you get to think like we started way earlier than that.
It's insane. And back at this time, people were talking like, well, how much longer can FS go? And we're honestly, considering all the stuff that we have been through, it's honestly kind of heartwarming that we're all just still here together. Like that's
for sure.
That's really the best thing, because we're strong.
All here united with Albania.
And you can announce our next one, Senna.
For sure. So the next award was the best PDF. And before I announce it, I would like to comment on the hard work that goes into making a PDF. I work very closely with Chucky, who makes a lot of PDFs as of late, and just because I'm working on the soundtracks a lot, and it's a grueling process, frankly. So this is an important award for sure, because it's kind of the final draft, or the final draft of the project at hand. And it was another tie between the Final Curtain, which is a superb script, and the contrast to that, not to say it wasn't a good script, but it's a more lighthearted script, was the Wolf of Wayne Street, which I had the privilege of working a little bit on.
Oh man, that was
feels so
did we
crazy.
ever actually explain the origin of how that was made?
I don't think so.
I think we like gave brief details of it, but I think the only thing that we've ever told people is that one day we just decided to write it in the old DCFS planning DM, which has been replaced, as now every server has their own dedicated planning chats, just so we can accommodate more people, as group DMs can only accommodate so many people. But if you want to give the breakdown of it from your perspective, feel free to do that, because it's crazy story.
Okay. So essentially, there was this joke that was like gonna be about Chucky and Spider secretly just DMing each other about a Thomas Wayne style Wolf on Wall Street project. But it was in the DCFS chat, right? And then it was followed by, oh shit, no one's supposed to see that. And then the idea just it just snapped in my mind. It was like the Doctor Strange astral scene. It was like that for me. And then I was like, please guys, please, can we do this? And then we started the Google Doc. And after we got the intro was written up, we just kind of kept rolling the ball. We had the idea of what each of the comic characters should be, putting a lot of the soundtrack, the jokes, all that, and after having not only play a large part in writing that, but also seeing The Wolf on Wall Street, I think we nailed it perfectly.
Some fun trivia for you on that. My my father happened to be logged into my Google account. Oh, I logged into my Google account on his computer, and he happened to. I don't know if he read the whole thing, but he told me. I was driving the car with him once, and he commented on it. I think he read a good chunk of it. There's some trivia for you. I don't know how meaningful that is, but
Incredible.
Yeah, you told me he read it.
yeah, he read it. I think he read the whole thing actually at the time. I don't know how far we were, but we were quite far.
That was so good.
I didn't get to contribute a lot to that simply because I was like, I don't remember what I was doing. I just know I was like incredibly busy.
Yeah, same with me.
December of that year, but I was happy to see that it actually came together because it's always cool to see ideas that just get like spitballed like that just become reality. And it
Yes.
was a really funny script, so you all did a great job with that. And of course, I have to give a shout out to the final curtain again, like Jornk did earlier. Fantastic script. Everybody should read the PDF of it. Still one of the finest on Marvel fan scripture.
For sure.
I remember the final curtain. It was a little controversial before it came out, and I feel totally regretful about being in that crowd because it came out and I think everything was done spectacularly. So, a bit of an apology to Pawn there. A fantastic job, and you did it great.
Sure, it's a very serious and dark script, which we don't have. We have them, but not to this extent. And it's actually one of the. I was going through a slump at one time in terms of reading fan fiction projects, and this was one of those projects that actually kind of got me back into reading things. So I'm very happy it won. It was well deserved.
I might have been among the crowd concerned among it at first, but reading it will blow all those away because hearing the concept will sound strange at first, but once you realize what it's going for and the period piece aspect of it, which, first of all, kind of crazy that we're so far removed from the 2000s that you can do throwback period pieces on them now. Wow. But it is super well done by Pone and crew, and it's just, I guess the way I would describe it is it's intimate. It's personal, and I think it handles that aspect of it very well because that's my favorite kind of stories that are just about how we as people are affected on the most basic of levels, and it works so well.
Agreed.
And you can talk about our next award, Jornk, a very exciting one if I do say so myself.
Oh yes, I believe you're right. So our next one would be the best cameo. And we had another tie, surprising amount of ties this year, but that just goes to show how much great projects we had. It was between Johnny as Batman and Martian Manhunter and Flash as the Music Meister in Rogue War.
Both very good cameos. There's, it's one of the big things with our scripts. A lot of the time there's a cameo here and there, and some are bigger than others, but they're always fun, and they're never really thrown in either. So this was it's always a good award to see, and both Flash as Music Meister was a personal favorite of mine. I thought it was great.
Oh yeah, it's surreal reading that again and being like, oh yeah, came back because we haven't like, I know Flash's retirement hasn't been long as compared to some other users, but it's still been long enough to where seeing him as a cameo is like, oh wow, hey, look at that.
Yeah,
cool.
For sure.
I was very glad to get him back to do that because I always enjoyed I particularly enjoyed working with him on Batman Vengeance, so I think that's why I wanted to see if I could get him to do one cameo, and why I also got Mac to do a cameo in the same scene, because I already knew when I was early on that I just wanted to have, if I'm going to have all these villains, I just wanted to have a cool scene to paint a picture of Central City's villain underground. I figured, if there was underground, they would all have the secret bar that they all went to shoot the shit and talk about their villainous conquests. And I think that they were perfect for that little scene, as well as the scene introing into how Captain Cold joins the rest of the rogues in their venture to take siege of Central City.
A great scene, if I do say so myself. I really enjoyed that.
Johnny's in Martian Manhunter was also particularly great because it was initially a small thing that probably would have only been a couple lines at most, but Johnny had a great idea to give it a more irreverent build-up, and it was also particularly important given that we changed the fan cast. Very important because our previous fan cast may or may not. It definitely is a cannibal, so good new fan cast and a great appearance of all of his. And it's more like an extended cameo, really, because he's had a couple of scenes in the script, and even with it, I think he's done a great job of helping him feel like a real presence in the background of the story. But yeah, good to have him there. And next we have our other Best Cameo Award, otherwise known as Best Brennan Cameo, which went to Bibbo Bibowski, not just because it was a great and funny cameo, but because it is out of respect for Norm Macdonald himself, who sadly passed away this past year, and I
We
think
lost the real one, honestly.
very sad
Tragic,
to
very
hear
tragic.
that. But
Norm Macdonald, great guy.
I think it was at least nice that we could do this cameo in this script, because no Spider, of course, had no idea at the time organizing this cameo that this was going to happen. But at least it serves nice in retrospect as a tribute to him, and I think that it was, even so, a nice inclusion. And Brendan's cameos and scripts are always funny and refreshing.
For sure. I was gonna make a joke about this, but it was a tough award to determine. You had a bit too many entrants there. Brendan was lucky to get the award. It could have been to someone else.
How do we decide?
It's very difficult. That was a bad
And,
joke. Leave that one out, Spider. That was wasn't as funny as I thought it would be.
It just replace it with something else. I don't know.
Literally anything.
3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, and.
These men are pawns. I put a price of 20,000 dirham on their heads.
Next, they will be hailed as the two messenger of God.
Literally anything.
Now, prisoner 24602604551. You're no one. Oh, your time is up and your time is up and your time is up. And I'm Javert. You know what that means.
Means I'm free.
No. So.
Literally anything.
You don't even know what you're asking me to confess. You have nothing, I don't have to tell you anything at all. Unless if I can prove that I never touched my balls, you promise not to tell another soul what you saw.
No one else was in the room where it happened.
Is that a yes?
You just touched your ball.
Literally anything.
What the hell are you? I'm Batman.
And you can talk about our next award, speaking of Senna.
Sure. So this was a award based on a new addition to the Fanswitcher Plus last year. It was the best Halloween short for the film festival, Halloween Film Festival, which is another great addition, I may add. This was another tie between HME and the Game Master. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to read any of the Halloween shorts this year. However, I skimmed through a handful of them, and they all seem fairly well written. Lots of passion put behind them. And this kind of goes off what we were saying about the Summer Film Festival, is that it's another opportunity to allow people to express their creative minds and within a short duration of time. And I know next year we have some more things planned for this, perhaps on a bit bigger scale. But I guess I'll hand it off to you guys to talk about it more.
Assuming it returns in 2022, hopefully next time we can expand it to more people, and thus hopefully it'll get more attention, including more attention on the past Halloween shorts. I definitely recommend anybody who hasn't read them, mine included if you feel like it, not sponsoring my own one here. Yeah, Roos's 2, because he filled in for one person that couldn't be there. The Tragedy of Tantalus, The Wolfman, and Loonies, which tied for the award here, HME, are all really fantastic. I was just really glad to be a part of this one. I really thought it was a great idea, just pick a time when you have maybe one or two main scripts that are ongoing, but otherwise it's a bit slower than the summer and the late winter, and throw in a little event. I think it was a great idea, and I really enjoyed doing my short for this one, Game Master, and it was really helpful for me personally too. Like I talked about before, it helped me get out of a writing rut, and it was really fun to put together. I know a couple of people who actually did read it, including Roos, who organized the festival, really liked it, and I was flattered by that. I think equally as good as mine, if not far more so, was Looney's HME. I really enjoyed the eternal time death loop aspect of it, and him trying to escape this hotel with the right series of actions and words. It's I know it had a little inspiration from AHS Hotel, but I can definitely say that he writes much better than Ryan Murphy, which I'm sure he won't take insult to, because wow. If you've ever seen anything written by Ryan Murphy, you can't mistake it for anything else. I think the inspirations were used to great effect here, as was the main plot. And next, of course, we have...
Best quote?
Yes, best quote.
So, for best quote, and there's a lot of great contenders, as always, it came to Johnny's quote from Rogue War.
It was a superb quote, really. I thought it was fantastic. Really, Johnny did such a fantastic job with this quote. It had a lot of character, it had a lot of emotion put behind it. The whole theme of the quote, tired and so on. I don't know, it was really good. I had nothing really else to say about it other than that. It was well deserved.
Great quote from Johnny from Rogue War. I was really proud of him during that scene in particular. It's part of the emotional crux of the script, and I'm really glad how well he's handled. He has always served me well as Hunter Zolomon in the Flash series, and that's some of his best work for my money. Fantastic dialogue. The way he plays off of Spider as Wally West, as always, is really fantastic, and he proves that here. And I was really happy to see him win it too, because guy really deserved it. All the other quotes were pretty good too. We always have a great collection of best and worst quotes, which, speaking of, hint hint, we also have the worst quote award. Always the funnest award, because even we have to admit sometimes, not every script writer is perfect. It's never intended as an insult, just an acknowledgement that we aren't perfect, and sometimes we have a bit of an oopsie.
Sometimes we just like to make bad quotes because they're really funny.
Yeah, and sometimes we just
don't get the wrong idea. We're sometimes we're very self-aware.
Yes, that is true.
And this one, interestingly enough, ended up being a tie between Mac's Man of Tomorrow quote, where he was texting Lois Lane a news link while being excessively flirty, as the good old Steve Lombard would, The Office.
I forgot, what was the YouTube link in that?
The YouTube link,
I think it was...
I never actually clicked on the link. I just assumed it was to a news broadcast or something. That was a really busy session for me, so I just didn't pay too much attention to it. He had pre-written it for that session. I was like, cool, we'll post it, moving on. And
it was a good quote. It fit very well, actually. It was a very fitting quote.
It was funny, so I liked it. And
I loved it.
Interestingly, this is I'm not joking here. This was the real way it was written and nominated by Mac the Milkman. All of Noah's lines for Doctor Strange: Curse of the Pink Panther. The drama between those two over that project, they have the most interesting fake beef over that one.
They have an interesting dynamic, and they clearly do have passion.
For sure.
If only Noah were here to comment on it, I'm sure he'd have something interesting to say about it. I don't really feel like I could say anything about this without
the two of them.
I don't know, patronizing, but it was kind of a funny addition nonetheless.
I guess you're certainly right.
Alright, so moving on from that, the next award was Best On-Screen Chemistry. The winner of the award was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles themselves. A very well-deserved award, if I do say so myself. It's a very... I can speak from experience, not for this script, but from previous scripts, that when you're having that sort of chemistry dynamic between not just two people, but 4 or 5, in this case it was 4, it's difficult at times. And when it works well, it works perfectly. And in this case, it worked perfectly. Everyone did a really good job. And it was a well-deserved award.
I definitely agree. If there's one thing that I think Chucky's projects always do well, it's getting a great main group of characters together. And I think everyone here, no bias, obviously, played really well off of each other. It was always fun to do the fight scenes and even just comedic dialogue scenes. For the scenes where the drama got to hit hard, that also worked really well together. One of my favorites in particular was when Jornk as Leonardo was calling Mikey out on his bull. Hey, you're literally abandoning our entire family all just for some money, endless piles of food,
clout,
and friends, and the sleazy girlfriend he gets on
for the clout.
Yeah.
That was really summoning your any Johnny Storm there.
A little bit.
A little bit of party girl energy.
Party girl. Gosh.
How many people are gonna remember that reference?
Yeah. It took me a second to remember what you were talking about, but I don't know how many people will remember it.
Time will tell.
Someone better remember.
I will inform the
comment
editors of what this reference
put a comment
was, and hopefully they will know what I mean, and they'll put it on the screen, or they'll cut it out, or maybe nothing will be on the screen, and we'll look like rambling idiots here. Only time will
Maybe
tell.
it'll just be that.
Only
Maybe it'll
time
be
will
that
tell.
picture of Maybe it'll just be that picture of Willem Dafoe looking really blankly, like with the camera.
It'll be Squid Games.
Squid Game. Uncle Ben, what happened?
Squid Games.
But on the topic of TMNT, I just want to say I'm really glad me and Proteus went for the roles we did. First of all, I know that both Leonardo and Michelangelo kind of get these skewed perceptions. You know, Leonardo's part of the whole belief that, oh, all leader characters are boring, and I disagree with that. I think leader characters get a bad rep, and Michelangelo, some people have tended to boil him down to, oh, he's just funny, meanie character, but I don't think that's true. We've had a lot of good Michelangelos. That's not to say all the Michelangelos we've gotten have hit, but there's a lot of good ones, and Proteus is now one of them.
I very much appreciate that. You were also a very good Leonardo. Your performance brought a lot of great energy to it, and Chucky being smart in how he wrote the character. I think that mostly why people say that either, oh, Leonardo's a bad leader, Raphael is edgy and overly dramatic, Michelangelo's just a heartless comedic relief, Donnie's just a nerd who can't empathize with anything. Most of that just comes down to a couple of less than stellar adaptations that ended up being fairly popular. There are plenty of good ones, though, and I think in all of the good ones, each of the characters are distinct from each other, and they all have emotional depth. I think the way that a lot of them act, it's just their personality at its base, you know, it's how they deal with their situations. Well, Michelangelo uses humor to distract himself from the crushing defeat of situations. Leonardo will try to tackle situations head on, not run from them, but try to strategize and find a logistical way to handle problems without running from them. Donnie as well, just in a slightly different way.
Yeah, exactly. I want to very much be consistent with how Leonardo was about his solutions. He was very much, this is what we were taught, and this is what we're going to go with. And he was very much about analyzing situations. And again, like you said, not to the level of Donatello's analysis and intelligence, but more like, you know, battle strategy wise.
Right.
And it's something I feel satisfied with pulling off.
And shout out to Looney's Raphael as well, because he embodied the best versions of that character, which isn't just pure anger and muscle, but a lot of heart, and that's really where a lot of his anger comes from, the fact that he feels like he's the strongest one, perhaps, and therefore he feels like he's got to do his best to protect his family.
You're not listening to me! Did you just slap me?
He's got a lot of, he cares for his family a lot.
Richard Williams was a fierce defender of his family.
Exactly.
And moving on, next we have Best Poster. This was a very interesting category. Given the variety of genres and tones and just characters that you have in strips, it's pretty much off the wall, and you can create a poster any way you want, so the way that they turn out often is pretty interesting. While our posters are not professional level, we can probably say all of our posters this year were better than most of the No Way Home posters. Not to throw shade, but my guy, whoever designed those, like, are you okay? No. Was Sony holding a gun to your head? Like, blink twice.
Like, this is what he did. He searched up. He was like, he didn't even search up these. He went to the trailer. He specifically took pictures of the characters in the trailer and was like, gonna make a render of that. Gonna make a render of that. Gonna make a render of that. Get Green Goblin. Get the Green Gobliner. Get him real small. Put him in the corner. And he didn't even get the real Green Goblin. He just got like a render of Taslim Goblin. That's probably what he did.
Gosh.
That's my theory, anyways. But yes, when we make posters, we really do try to put as much heart into them, and I feel like we had two really interesting winners here, because one was Chucky's, which was Chucky had a very specific style when going for TMNT here. I like the whole black and white, but the main colors sticking out, those are the only thing with colors, like the headbands. Those were good. I feel like that color scheme really felt faithful to TMNT as a whole. And our other poster is very unique because it's for an entirely original script. So with that, you know, you're kind of wondering, oh, well, what's that going to look like?
Yeah,
And
for
I
sure. I
think
think Ruse's script, Fast Times in LA, which was a second winner, I believe he commissioned the art, and the artist did a fantastic job. It really it fits the tone of his script, and it also, as Jornk says, when you have some sort of a script that's an original premise, you kind of have the idea, okay, well, what's it going to look like? Then it gives you an idea of the character. I believe it's the main character on the cover, and it kind of gives you that idea of how he looks, and that kind of shapes how you read the script.
Font and the face of the character, the background, and the skull mask that he's holding. It instantly tells you that it's going to be an interesting throwback kind of deal, and that there's going to be a lot of mayhem.
Yeah,
and there definitely is both of those things in the best way. And like you said with the TMNT poster, it was a nice touch making posters in the style that the original comics were drawn in, and for most of their posters keeping solely the red masks. Just a little neat thing. You can talk about our next award, Senna.
So the next award was the Best Ensemble Cast, and this goes to TMNT yet again. Must say another well-deserved award. It was a very large cast, abnormally large, not in a bad way, but uniquely. And Chuck did a very good job of organizing everybody and getting everyone to have their own scenes and how everything fit in. And the cast did superb. Both of you did a fantastic job, as we discussed before, and everybody else did. I had the honor of playing a role as well in this script. While it was small, I had fun doing it. So yeah, again, it's a very befitting award. The cast was very good, and I'll leave it to you guys to continue that discussion.
Yeah, like I was saying, Chucky always does good about getting great casts of people together, not just people who play particular roles well, but people that he knows will play off of other people well. And especially in making sure every character has a purpose. There's very few characters in his scripts that feel like they're just there, and every single character that appears from the source material and other things in this script feel like they have a purpose. They always feel lived in. They always feel like there's a history there, even if we don't see all of it, and that's what I appreciate most about this cast in particular, the passion that goes into all of the characters there, and how he was gathering the cast to perfectly envision them. I think everyone did a great job.
Yeah, no, this definitely felt like one of those big classic casts, if you get if you get what I mean.
Yeah, for sure, I agree with that. Yeah, every so often we have a cast like this as well for fan scripture that's kind of on this large scale. So it's nice to see it, and it was nice to see it winning the award.
So next up we had Best TV Episode, and this was, oh, would you look at this, Plasma Man. It was Plasma Man, Season 2, Episode 1. Isn't it ionic? That's a pun for you kids at home. And I actually remember when this came out too. It was kind of a, what's the word I want to use? Yeah, it was like a milestone, I guess, because I remember when it came out, it was like boom, Plasma Man is back, and in a big way.
I appreciate that you thought I gave a lot of fanfare to the return of it, because I really wanted to make it a big return of it. I was really happy to get back to it after almost, I think it was, by this point, it was over a year since I had aired Season 1. I had been working on the concept for a while. I was hoping that people would enjoy it, and it seems like they did. I'm glad you were among those people. I remember when I first showed Spider that title, and he was like, that's a great title. That's how I knew it was a good omen. I was on a roll. And
we're in. That's how you're like, we're in.
Yeah, we're in. We got this. And I'm glad a lot of other people thought so too. I never thought I would have won Best TV Episode, especially considering, like I said, when I was up on the stage at the Great Meanies, I gotta give a shout out to, my competition. There were fantastic episodes from Fast Times in LA, Sonic the Hedgehog, Star Forger. All of those were really great episodes. Those are all great shows. Really glad to support and read those shows because they're fantastic. And again, like I say a lot with everything here, if you haven't, please read those because they're fantastic projects made by people who really care. And I tried to put that same level of care into this show, and I'm glad that people are enjoying it so far. Season 3 will probably already be out by the time this goes, Episode 3 of Season 2 will probably be out by the time this goes. Yeah, hopefully we would not be waiting that long for this episode to go up. Not again. thanks to you guys. Really grateful for this one, and yeah, really awesome to see my show getting that kind of acclaim.
And you deserve it. It's a very well written show.
And next we have Best TV Show. Again, like great pool of FS TV shows we have here, not just great set of movies. And this ended up going to the one, the only, Marvel FS's Spider-Man, the script that we've been working on.
I'm in that one, guys.
Yeah, spoiler alert, he's in that one. Senna's in that one too, buddy.
Yes.
And so am I.
And so are you. We all have our involvement in this.
Wait, actually, no, we're all involved. I'm
producing.
near two of the writers.
Yeah.
I'm merely their puppet to help give the show life. I'm one of their puppets. So you see, they have a gun to me right now. So I gotta be careful about what I say.
Just use your next words very carefully.
Next word. Kino, inspirational. And this season specifically, I gotta say, and I didn't really say this earlier, I really like the whole disc gimmick.
Yeah, I
And
think
maybe
that
it's
was a really...
and I can say, because this was before I read JoJo Part 6 even, so no, I'm not. It's not any bias towards that. I just thought the disc gimmick was really cool because first you have the cartridges, which I really love. Cartridges are just always a safe one for me, but the discs, those are really cool, and I like how we continue to have these designs. I love the team ups in this with we had Johnny joined as one of the roles in which he teamed up with me, which was pretty fun, along with Craven too.
Yeah, those are some great. I'm very grateful that we got this award. This is I think we got it last year too, and I'm very happy people are enjoying this, especially because it's kind of that more niche, right? It's supposed to be Toku. That's no hiding that. But anyway, this season especially, I love the team ups. Johnny did a superb job as Sunfire. And the progression of the story is great. I'm very happy with how it's been going. Thanks to our wonderful actors as well. Couldn't have done it without them.
And in this season, we got Electro Monday.
Buy your tickets for Spider-Man No Way Home. The Elemental arc has been really fantastic. I was really happy that we got to continue, and I think that this arc is, it's been good at upping the stakes, giving us even more fantastic villains of the week. And of course, we couldn't do it without your wonderful buoyancing of the show as Takuya Yamashiro, so thank you for doing what you do.
Oh, no problem. I love playing Takuya. Takuya is awesome. He's a character that I always love writing for. And I've gotten a lot of opportunities to just keep having more fun with him.
Yeah, it's true.
Especially in his battle against Electro. If you saw that.
Yeah, you do a great job. I really wouldn't have anybody else.
You really do a great job.
You carry the script,
I
very well.
it. And it's kind of like what Proteus said about my performance. I kind of like to incorporate what I actually have seen of Takuya in the original show, along with the kind of dynamics you may see in a modern Tokusatsu show, and I try to be faithful to both, and I'm personally happy with how it turns out.
Yeah, it comes out very well.
Exactly.
It's a great balance. I'm very happy that you are doing that. It really
and I'm
makes
glad
the
that
script.
you enjoy playing it so much. Your passion shows through.
Yeah, exactly. Next award is the award of the night. Is the greenest meanie, and this was a award actually kind of linked to what we were talking about earlier with Best Edition, and it was to, of course, Noah as Brainiac 1.0. A very befitting award, well deserved. He did such a great, again, as I said before, he does such a great job with these types of roles, and it really shows with this one. And that's all I'll say about that for now.
Right, he's great at playing calculating, introspective villains. He brings that same energy.
Because he is a calculating, introspective villain in real life.
Indeed, he is.
Maybe.
That's why he uses gifts all the time. Maybe.
Yeah, if you ask Mac, that's probably what he'd tell you. But yeah.
Noah really does have a knack for these characters, and I don't think we're going to be seeing that leaving him anytime soon. And I'm glad for that because he just really reins it in.
I enjoyed working with him on Superman Panic in the Sky, and he's giving me that same great material for Man of Tomorrow, so always a treat to work with him, and he gave one of his best performances in his career to date, and hopefully he'll just keep going up and up from here, and I am sure that he will, because he's more than earned it at this point. Of course, next we have Best Supporting Actor, which was an interesting tie, but well earned for both of them, between Mac as Larry Dickman in the early episodes of Fast Times in L.A., a fan favorite character of the show, and well earned, of course. He just gave such a great presence in such brief screen time, and that's what a good Nicolas Cage role is. So he channeled that energy just pitch perfectly. And Roos as President Lex Luthor in Superman Panic in the Sky. Also well earned, he gives a solid performance as one of the main, I guess it's kind of hard to call him the main baddie of that because you've also got Brainiac and Metallo there, but he is still a very good baddie there in the best way, and the interactions between him, Jimmy Olsen, and Lois are some of the best things in the script. All those scenes were written really well. He elevated them with his performance. I know that Spider based a lot of these things on Superman, the animated series. That was my first real introduction to like the wider lore of Superman, and the Lex Luthor in that one is pretty pitch perfect to a lot of the Golden and Silver Age comics, and I think
He is
Bruce
great,
captures
man.
that
I
same
love him,
energy, just super fitting, super perfect. Scenery chewing, but never like too over the top, and with just the right kind of cold and
He's voiced by Mr. Krabs.
Yes,
Yes, that's an important point.
So moving on from the greenest meanie, we have Best Supporting Actor. And another tie. This is between Mac as Larry Dickman. Very fitting that he always plays characters with the name Dick in them. And Roos as President Lex Luthor.
Jornk,
Two powerful characters.
Jornk, we just talked
indeed.
about that one. We can cut that error out, no big deal, but our next one was Best Actor. You can...
Oh wait, did I just...
Yeah.
How did I say...
It's an
I
easy
don't know.
mistake to make. Best Supporting
Bro,
Actor, Best Actor.
okay.
No
sorry. Okay, cut that. That's fine. I don't know how I did that. Best Actor, which was a tie between me, Jornk, as Takuya / Spider-Man, and Spider as Wally West, aka The Flash. Two young heroes, fatherless behavior.
Fatherless behavior.
Well,
Well.
both. As I say, Jordan, we said earlier, you're fantastic as Takuya.
Thank you.
You really deserve the support.
And just the same, I think Spider really hits it home with Wally
sure,
West.
I agree.
It's really interesting seeing him play this character, especially since I played Barry Allen, right? Because so seeing him right as Wally is very interesting, and I think he really nailed it. I think it's a great example of the kind of range he can pull. I've seen him do a lot of different roles.
There are actors that slip into the roles very well to the point where they seem pitch perfect, and you don't see the actor anymore. You just see the character. And I think that's what the kind of actor Spider is, because he does almost every role that he does to perfection, including Wally West. He's probably I couldn't ask for a better Wally West Flash. He just gives so much heart to the character and isn't afraid to make sure there's enough humor to balance things out so that he's never too dour of a character, which is just who Wally is. Barry is definitely the more dramatic and serious Flash, which of course you do well in Born to Run and Rogue War. You guys play off of each other really well, and I'm super proud of him. Like Senna said earlier, I'm also really proud of you because we couldn't ask for a better Takuya Yamashiro, and you always bring the best energy to eat. Like not just as a great character, but like you embody the energy and that Toku protagonists have super, super well.
Yeah, no, again, it's really fun playing as Takuya Yamashiro, and I think you guys cast him well too. I always like imagining his voice with my lines. It just works really well.
We knew that we had to after seeing Build. And reminder, technically speaking, one of the first shots of Banjo Ryuga's introduction in Build is a shot of his pants with his zipper down while he's running away from
that's
the
true.
cops. Legendary.
That is very true. Okay, moving on from Best Actor, we have Best Director. And for our second year in a row, it goes to none other than Mr. Proteus himself. Another very befitting award, if I may say so. You've just been directing very great projects lately. Very good style. yeah, I don't want to beat around the bush too much though. It's just you really deserve the sword, especially a second year in a row.
I really appreciate. I'm so flattered not only to get it once but twice, but like I never think that I'm like hot shit or anything like that. I'm just really grateful that you guys like what I do. I never I never try to. I try not to overblow my ambitions or anything like that. I write from as best as I can say, like from the heart. Because even if I'm not just writing about average experiences, which is what Jonathan Larson did, R.I.P. the GOAT. I always try to put my emotions down on the page as best I can. Write stories that are mainly about, real people enduring struggles and overcoming as best they can. I think that that's what's at the heart of all great stories, if you boil them down to their essentials. And of course, there are stories that vary from that. Like I also like horror as well, and the very basis of that genre is seeing people fail. Either seeing people like just come across horrible things, or there are great horror movies that are about people just coming together and enduring terrible events. But maybe bad example. I don't know where I was going with that. I'm sorry, but I think you guys get what I mean. Like I just like to tell stories about people overcoming odds, and I like to give as much heart to that as I can. I just like to tell stories that will punish the characters for a little while, but will leave you feeling good when you finish it.
Yeah, you're very good at doing that, and I think that's one of the reasons perhaps you won this award. It's a good style for you, and I think that's also very evident within Plasma Man, which gives you a lot of creative freedom outside of the boundaries of a Marvel or DC universe. So kudos to you for that.
Really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much, as always. And of course, next we are moving into not just the present, but the future for a moment, with the most hyped Marvel project coming this year. Now that it's 2022, still doesn't feel real.
Because it's 2015.
And we had a lot of great contenders here, but I think we all had a feeling we knew what it would be, because there's been subtle hints from the creators just lacing it throughout the year. And it was, of course, Daredevil, the man without fear, from the wonderful Noah. And Hydro. Gonna be really hype. It's really nice to see that after such a long history with quite a revolving door of people pitched to direct and or write it over the years, that we're finally getting to the point where we've got people who are gonna deliver what I am sure is gonna be a banger script, and it's gonna be really great to see.
Yeah, especially because it's a passion character for Noah, I believe. Noah, yeah, for sure. It's Daredevil, and I always like to see scripts that are written and directed by those who are very passionate about the character at hand. It's always a very good script in the end, so I think this is going to be great.
I could not agree more. And you can talk about our most hyped DC project, Jork.
Yeah, no, of course. Our next one, of course, like you said, next hyped DC one is Batman. R3 loaded or reloaded, if you prefer.
Whichever one you prefer, but yeah, I think that's going to be an interesting thing to see. I believe Chucky first teased this project back in the fall of 2019. I don't exactly remember when he first posted the image. But I've been looking forward to it since then, and it's been interesting to see how he's balanced it out. I know that, and that was even before things like them doing things like showing the newspaper at the end of the CW crossover Crisis that showed that universe's version of Bruce and Selina ended up marrying at some point, and I guess hinting that in that universe Batman had retired, which is also interesting considering that now he's supposed to be coming back as like a mentor older Batman for the Flash. I will reserve my feelings on that because I have many, but that's not what we're here to talk about.
Terry McGinnis.
And if I may talk about this, I do love the Keaton Batman film, so I'm quite excited to see this, as well as his preview that he did at the either last Screen Meanies or was the film festival. I can't quite recall.
It was the film festival.
Okay.
I believe it was FSFF.
Yeah, yep, I can confirm it was the film festival
nice
where we got our first.
It was
for sure. What he was working on, and I think it was nice because he's got a few concepts of his own, and I know he was working off of the film that I'm not sure if it would have been the final title, but I believe the working title of what would have been a follow-up, a direct follow-up to Batman Returns called Batman Continues was that you'd have that version of Harvey Dent, played by Billy D. Williams, become Two-Face. I think that was the main villain concept.
Yeah,
there.
that was, I believe.
I guess eventually that boiled down and translated to what we ended up getting in the first Joel Schumacher, R.I.P. Batman film, Batman Forever, with Tommy Lee Jones as Harvey Dent / Two-Face. But I know that that was important to him to continue that, as well as a few other story elements. Of course, bringing Miss Selena Kyle back is very important because, you know, we've been waiting for another big cinematic adaptation of that character, which I'm sure we will get from Zoe Kravitz in 2021's The Batman. Yes, I know. Get your Blu-ray Angel Screams out now. Yeah! Michelle Pfeiffer's version of that character in Returns is legendary, so it's really nice to see more of that as well.
Something else I'm also looking forward to, based on the preview, is incorporating other elements of Batman's story and characters into the Keatonverse, so to speak. One that comes to mind from the preview is Huntress, who's a personal favorite of mine, and I look forward to how Chucky will incorporate not only her, but, you know, like I said, other aspects of Batman's kind of surrounding universe into the Keatonverse, as I said before.
I definitely agree with that, and it's going to be fun to see. I'm sure some things will change, given that that was FSFF 2020.
Yeah, for sure.
It's still upcoming. Not that I don't think it'll be good. I think that Chucky's just been, he's been refining his craft, fully deciding on some things, and I'm confident that when he delivers us the final product, it'll be a really neat project and a great throwback to the early era of truly great comic book films.
For sure. So moving on to the next award, it is the most hyped project for Fanswitcher Plus. And this is 007. Cue the Bond theme now. This is, I believe, being written by Johnny?
Yeah, written
Yes.
by Johnny T. Tears, created by him as well.
I believe so.
Well, not... technically it's created by Ian Fleming, but, you know, it was all his idea. We needed, like we probably talked about it before, but, you know, after a certain user departed and the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen plans fell through, we wanted to salvage some of that, and so because one of those ended up being a James Bond origin, Johnny ended up picking that up and turning it into his 007 movie, starring Henry Cavill, who showed that he's got quite the charming Englishman spy chops in Guy Ritchie's The Man from U.N.C.L.E., for example, which is why you see a lot of fan of him as the character from that movie, with like 1 or 2 shots specifically of him holding a gun at the screen.
Very cool scene.
Really, really cool stuff, and I can't wait to see what he does with that finished version of it, because I know that he's almost as big of a Bond fan as like me or Brendan are, and I know that he knows what the essentials of that character are. And I'm actually kind of interesting to see what he does with it, not because this is a sore point or anything, because, you know, I respect his opinion, but I especially find it interesting because I was a big fan of last year's No Time to Die. I found it a fantastic conclusion to that era of the character, but I know that Johnny didn't feel it was all that great, found it a bit bland, and I respect that. I kind of wonder, he probably sees something different in that character than I do, which makes sense given how many different Bonds there are, and given that they all bring one specific thing for their character that makes them who they are. You know, you've got your classic suave, maybe a little rough man with Sean Connery. You've got your suave, charming, at times goofy Bond with Roger Moore. You've got your super duper hard Bond with Timothy Dalton, way before Daniel Craig was doing the gritty, intense Bond. You've got your kind of dipping his toes in all different genres of Bond film with Pierce Brosnan. I still love him, though. I'm sure that Johnny will probably approach this film in a way that will play not just to the strengths of the character, but to Henry Cavill's strengths as an actor, so it'll be really cool to see him balance all that.
It's like what James Bond said in Dr. No, 6 shots, and I gotta go to bed.
He didn't say that.
He said that for sure. But you know who did say what? You know who did say what? He said best emote. And best emote was Vishon.
Vishon is one of the hardest emotes that we've got. And
It
that
goes
was
so
really
laughs for that one.
hard.
Very good emote.
Hell yeah, Vishon.
But yeah, don't feel like I should try to act like I have anything deep or profound to say about an emote other than just that it makes me laugh. It's funny. I love it.
That's all that matters. Yeah, exactly.
That's all that matters.
speaking of funny, we found the funny. We finally did it, guys, with the best FS meme. And it turns out that the funny ended up being the GOAT movie podcast. Yes, you can feel free to Blu-ray Angel Scream as much as you want. I mean, you can tell that there's a lot of passion from Angel, so it's always like, I mean, I never feel like I'm laughing at him, but like the insane amount of passion that he displays for everything he's talking about, I think that's what really lends to it. Like the scream that he gave for the end of the Batman trailer.
He does daily workouts to the Batman trailer, and I think he's on day 60 or 61.
Yeah.
I mean, you got it. That's just his version of the Sigma grind set.
I don't care what happens to me.
Whoa, take it easy, sweetheart. Hear everything they say, ain't you?
Maybe we're not so different. Who are you under there?
I'm vengeance.
Exactly.
I think he got me like even more hyped for a movie I was already really looking forward to.
Yeah, he actually helped me get more hyped
because of
for
how crazy his energy is. I love it. I love the let's get it, baby.
A breath of fresh air with that positivity because it's genuine. A lot of those podcasts are they're garbage. They're they're just fake and they're doing it for money or for views. But with him, it's kind of talking like a Screen Rant article. But his genuine passion really is just a breath of fresh air, and I really respect him for having that.
I respect him for the commitment, at least, even if maybe I would recommend that he not do so many fan edits of moments because he always gets.
I'll get the girl
on Twitter.
My responsibility.
I'll get the.
No, Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan. I'll get the girl.
Hey,
She's
you're my eyes and ears.
responsibility.
We will eat your eyes and ears. That's probably my favorite one.
One of my favorites is the one where it says "We were waiting for you, Mr. Wayne," and it shows the what are they called? The Court of Owls. It was just a very funny edit. I don't know why. That one was quite funny. It was simple but funny.
That was great.
I love the he did a video edit recently. It was like in Hawkeye where like the truck is gonna go to ice cream and then stops and it shows Peter swing by. It's like Merry Christmas.
That's one's so funny because he can clearly see that they are like fighting for their life, and he just swings by and is like, "Screw y'all! Y'all can handle that."
Oh my god. Dude, I want to see what this guy says about Morbius when it comes out.
That's going to be a sight to
that's
behold.
gonna be
That will be a
insane.
sight to behold.
It really will.
Yeah, no, just
But it's coming out the same month
I
as
guess
the
a
Batman,
genuinely
so-
pretty positive FS meme this year, and I'm all for it.
But moving on from that, we have Best Ongoing Project, which another contributor to the Proteus sweep was Plasma Man Season 2.
Hashtag Proteus sweep when somebody says Hawkeye is a better show. Hashtag Proteus sweep.
Thank you, Johnny, for that GIF. Please, editors, plaster that GIF on the screen right now because that GIF made me
Every
laugh
time we
so
say
hard.
Proteus sweep, just like put it up there.
So
Yeah,
I've
my
said it a
favorite.
couple times now, but I'll just say it again as brief as I can. I really appreciate that you guys enjoyed it. I'm really excited and happy to do more episodes of this show moving into 2022, and I really hope that you guys are going to enjoy it. But I'm pretty confident I've got something special for y'all. So, wink, wink.
I look forward to it.
Right. And next, in the similar vein, we've got Best Pre-Written Project. A lot of great contenders here, which, interestingly, and perhaps and somewhat of an upset, went to The Wolf of Wayne Street. What an interesting project. It's really cool that this thing came together, joke or not, and it's a really funny project, so it accomplishes exactly
Can we talk real quick about our excellent casting?
Yes.
Kanye
Wonderful
West as Two-Face because bitches are too scared to face me. It's fun when you can do scripts like this.
Indeed, yeah. It's
really a lot of fun. And you know what? If we get the Senna's dad approval, if we get Senna's dad sing, we got a laugh out of it. Then I feel like we've we've gone beyond success there. That's all I'm gonna say on that one.
Like the bar rescue GIF says, you deserve this success.
You deserve this success. Yes, exactly.
And of course, why don't you announce the next one, Senna? I think this one might be a bit personal.
This one.
Okay, so the next one was best credits, and a very honored to announce that my project, Space Destroyer Shimakaze 2199 won. I'm very grateful for that. My brother and I worked incredibly hard on these credits to try and get them as authentic to the show it's based off of, Space Battleship Yamato. Try to get them as authentic as possible.
It looked a lot like the like those kind of anime credits, and I was surprised, but like knowing your dedication for this kind of subject, you know, that part doesn't surprise me because I know you guys care a lot about this stuff, and I've heard you guys praise the show a lot, so I can understand why this happened. They just look great.
Thank you. Yeah, we took the idea. There was an idea behind it too. We put the fan cast within there as well for all the characters. That was kind of just a hidden thing we just threw together to try and make it more authentic. And also the idea at the end of the short, it was supposed to be more alluding to the actual show itself, since it's a prequel. So we got this footage from a movie that came out for the show, and it's a collection of clips from the whole show. And the idea was to show, which at the beginning of our credits, and the idea was to show what's to come. And my brother actually suggested that, and I'm very happy he did. It came out perfectly. Could not have done it without him. But yeah, once again, I'm very grateful that we won an award for that. Thank you to all who voted and enjoyed. I'm very happy everyone enjoyed it.
Well deserved.
I think that was great voting, and again, great to see this sibling combo. I don't think we've seen that yet.
No, it's the first time, yeah. First of many, hopefully. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait.
Oh yeah. No, I'd like to see more of that.
Directors 2022 confirmed.
I mean, they did say. I mean, me and Flash were technically the Coen brothers on Foes 2, but we weren't actually brothers. So we were just the.
So we're the real Coen brothers now. That's
we were the real Coen brothers. We were the
and Alex will be the Greek version of the Wachowskis.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, congratulations.
But I believe this leads us to our last green meanie.
Wow, already?
Time has flown.
Really
yeah,
has.
time's flown. And that would be the best live project or live project. No one told me. And this one would go to Superman Panic in the Sky. Sorry, Jump Force. Maybe next year.
Maybe next year. Catch
a great project.
No,
Very good project.
This one doesn't surprise me at all because I don't know, these Superman projects have just been knocking out of the park. I think they're great. I think, and like I said this in some other podcast. Sorry if I sound like a broken record, but like the speed at which they come out is just great to me.
Yeah, it's good to see
I really appreciate that Spider was right back on the ball working conceptually on this just a couple months after American Alien ended, and I think he delivers the same heart and wonderful spectacle to this one that he delivered to that one. The wackiness and the neat concepts with just the right amount of humor and a perfect amount of heart between all the characters, and it's great to see that they've got more interactions from the classic characters like Jimmy Olsen, who hasn't been featured in a lot of the movies very prominently. Like, he's been there, but he's never been at the forefront. That was one of the things Spider highlighted on stage at the Green Meanies, and I think he perfectly captures those classic feelings. This truly is a comic come to life in the best way.
For sure, yeah. It's a very comic-y script in a very good way. It's fantastically written, directed, and acted in, and yeah, I agree with everything you said. It's just a really good project all around.
Well earned, Spider.
I can't improve.
And that
wow, I guess that wraps it up.
However, we can't forget, Jornk. We also have some announcements that were made.
Yeah, that's right. We have announcements.
Yes, announcements. Just to make this quick, because we can say our piece about them, but let's just announce each one on ourselves. I'll take FS, you take FS Plus, you take MFS Jornk, and you can finish this off with DCFS Senna.
Okay, great. Got it.
We'll do as best we can. So, for FS Plus, we of course had the wonderful announcement of Star Forger Season 3 by Spider. Really love what he did with Star Forger Seasons 1 and 2, which Season 2 should be concluding soon, so keep an eye out for that. Big stuff. The last episode was insane, and I can't wait to see where he takes the series after that and into Season 3. There's so much potential there. I've always enjoyed what he does with Scott Stone / Starforger as a character, and the world that he creates in that section of Cobalt City always felt like such a lived-in world, so exciting to see. And in addition to that, we also have Meteor War, which is something we've been cooking up for a while now in the concept phase. Essentially, what this is, you know, the Meteor Tide meets that universe's version of the multiverse. All of the heroes from the Meteor Tide universe are going to come together and face a threat to all of them for one big epic spectacle, and I hope you guys are going to enjoy that. So that in course includes Starforger, my own Plasma Man, and Falcons, the Spectre Detective Day Zero. So can't wait for when we get that done. I think y'all are going to really enjoy it when we get it all written out, and hope to see you at the premiere. Wink wink. And of course, lastly for FS Plus, we have Berlin Ghoul by Ruslu, an adaptation of the Tokyo Ghoul manga / anime, this time set in Germany with a new, different organization of ghouls, and essentially just the idea of how a different area of the world would react to and handle the crisis between ghouls and humans, and how different areas of the world would handle the situation and the conflict and the consequences of ghouls being amongst humans. Ghouls, of course, in this case, essentially, the best way I can describe the manga, which I've enjoyed reading so far, is essentially it's like their take on vampires, but it's a very unique take, which is impressive given that we are increasingly running out of unique ways to do that concept. But I have confidence in Roos, and I think he's going to do a fantastic job with this.
Now we have the Marvel FS announcements. And just to know, we have a rearranged schedule. Daredevil is now the next MFSU project. And we've spoken on that before in our other podcasts. But yeah, look out for that one coming up. But as for projects that are new, we have Hulk 2 God Gamma by Jedu. The first Hulk project he tackled was incredibly interesting. First of all, casting for Bruce Banner, just gotta say again, perfect. But the concepts he brought in, they were very refreshing, and it kind of reminded me of how, in terms of Hollywood, so many Hulk projects have been pitched before and never came to fruition, and I kind of got the same vibes from this in the best way of just like what I'd love to see on screen with Hulk. So yeah, overall, looking forward to Hulk 2 God Gamma a lot. And the one that took me off guard the most, in the best way possible, was the irredeemable Ant-Man by Chuck E. Cheese's Bitch, I'm Hank Pym. Get Black Skinhead in there right now.
Long time no see, Dr. Pym. How's retirement?
How's your face?
Dr. Hank Pym.
So, first of all, Andy Samberg, not expecting that, but again, I'm all for it. I never expected Chucky to go for an Ant-Man project, but I think he can really make this work. Ant-Man, now, say what you will about the MCU Ant-Man movies we did get, but I think the action in them was pretty good. Like, I don't know, like, the last half of Ant-Man, like, the MCU movie, kind of a mess. Action's pretty good, though. So, I can definitely imagine Chucky making the most of what can be done with Ant-Man's powers, but giving us a much more cohesive story. So overall, looking forward to how H.M. Hank Pym is done here.
Moving on from that, we have our final announcements of the evening, which was for DC Fanscripture. And the first and most important, I would say, is the Legion Lost trailer, and the roles themselves have been released just today. A great trailer, if I do say so myself. I was actually given the privilege of reviewing one of the early drafts by Chucky, and it's a very anticipated project. Chucky is very passionate for the Legion, and his first project and the workforce for the Fans Future Film Festival were superb. So they're going. No doubt, this is going to be a great series as well. It's an interesting take instead of just a movie. It's going to be a maxi series or macro series rather. And I've also been told, and I'm personally suggesting to audition for such roles. There's 24 of them. That's a lot. It's going to be hard to fill. So it would be great for people to go audition for those roles. The next important thing we had is Deadshot from Noah and Hyperion, and they had a preview premiere at the Green Meanies. And excuse my Greek, it was para polio, and for the French out there, it was très bien. It was a very, very good short part of it. If the project is anything like that, it's going to be fantastic. Very much looking forward to that. They also have announced a Suicide Squad Serpent of Chaos by both of them, and it's going to be fantastic if it's anything like their preview. And also to announce that the schedule for this has been reworked a bit. My personal project Zatanna, Mistress of Magic, has moved up a bit, so I believe that's coming up soon. And Booster Gold, I think, has moved down just a bit. Thankfully, just to say, not to talk too much about Zatanna, I've talked about it a little bit at the awards, but it's a passion project of mine. She's my favorite comic character, so I do look forward to being able to do this project. And the writing process has been very good lately after a long period of writer's block, so I look forward to that. And finally, another project of mine with Spider is Green Lantern, Blackest Night. Can't say too much about it right now, but it's, in my opinion, one of the best DC comics ever written. Basing off of that, I very much look forward to it. So that's a lot of good to look forward to for DC fans for sure.
Once again, we've had a very good Green Meanies. A lot of ties that shows just how much, just how many projects, jumped out to people. Not that the other ones that don't win ever don't, but like, again, just it really showed to me that wow, a lot of projects jumped out at people. And yeah, no, I'm happy about it. I'm disappointed I couldn't get anything out this year. It was a very, I guess you could say it's somewhat of a transitional year for me personally. I won't get into that, but I'm overall happy with what I saw in FS, and I'm happy to see what we're gonna get in 2022, despite whatever this year may bring us. There's this woman who predicted an alien invasion coming this year. Maybe we'll see one of those.
Maybe interesting, but hopefully not. I don't think we can afford anything crazier than what we've already seen over the last 2 years.
No. Yeah, alien
God,
invasion
no.
would be something else.
Yeah, let's not bring it upon ourselves. But
No kidding.
I agree with you. It's great that we've been through another strong year of FS projects, and I'm looking forward to another great year, and I think
Likewise.
you all will agree with me on that.
Yeah, it was a great year for that.
So that's all we have to say. I think
12 months of grinding.
I think that'll be it from us this year. Unless either of you have something you want to say before we go.
I have one last thing to say.
Say it.
Go for it.
Squid Games.
Squid Games.
Squid Games.
Okay.
Squid Games. Do you have anything to say, Simon?
Just Happy New Year to everybody, and wishing everyone all the best. And thank you for having me, both of you. It was a pleasure to be on the podcast as per usual. I really enjoyed doing these.
Wonderful to have you. It's always a pleasure to have you on. You're a great presence.
Thank you very much.
All right. And that'll be it from us this time. See you on the next episode.